You're a busy professional. You don't have time for fluff. You need strategies that work, and you need them fast. Welcome to Busy Pro Fast Wellness with me, your host, Alan Welch. We're here to give you science-backed hacks and actionable tips to boost your focus, minimize friction, and maximize your results. Less time, more impact. It's time to get well, stay strong, and thrive. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Busy Pro Fast Wellness. Today we're talking about something that sounds simple, but, well, it's that old chestnut, and it can be quite slippery to hold on to. Yep, you may well have guessed. It's consistency. We've talked about this before, and many people talk about this often. And I'd like to hone in on something else, which is dear to my heart and something that I like to use as a kind of vehicle to explain consistency in more detail. So, it's jazz. So in jazz, in the music, it's rarely those flashy runs that make that music memorable when somebody tries to get as many notes in as possible. And, well, most listeners out there, the audience members, what really makes it special, the music, is more the rhythm and the space and the connection between the players on stage and a soloist who knows when to pause, when to leave that space, and when to respond. And that, for me and for many others, is when the music really breathes and it makes it particularly impactful. And I want you to think about Chet Baker, Bill Evans, Sonny Rollins, if you're into jazz, of course. What they did is they left space in their phrases, giving the audience time to absorb what was happening. And that simplicity becomes part of the music itself. Why am I using jazz as a metaphor to explain consistency? Well, in wellness, it works the same way. You do your task, whether it's a short workout, a focused stretch, or even just pausing to breathe. Then you leave space to recharge before starting again. So if you've been with me before, you'll know my SSCCF formula. Bit of a mouthful, admittedly, but maybe I should rebrand that. It'll do for now. But the first S is simplicity, and simplicity is the foundation of consistency. So too many people, they start their wellness journey by going too big, too soon. Extreme diets, daily workouts that just aren't sustainable, strict routines that collapse the moment life gets messy. And what happens? They just burn out or give up after a short period. Instead, the secret is rhythm. Not overwhelming effort once in a while, but simple, repeatable actions that you can just keep returning to. Like a musician practicing scales, or in my case, more the jazz language. For example, chromatic enclosures or phrasing patterns, cycle of fifths, chord progressions. Now, is this glamorous? Well, no, not at all. But the results are what build freedom in music, in movement, and in life. It just becomes so much easier. So on the trumpet, post-classical days, when I was really only reading the dots that were up in front of me, but more to when I was getting into improvisation and jazz, I used to think progress meant packing in as many notes as I could into a solo. But the real growth came from deep, focused practice on fewer things, done consistently, and leaving more space in my improvisations. And it's the same really in movement and fitness. We don't need hours in a gym to wear ourselves out, to feel stronger and more energized. But what we need is consistent purposeful action. And for a busy professional, that could mean a 5-minute reset routine at your desk, a little bit of mobility, a bit of breathing, maybe a handful of squats. Or it could be a short daily walk. And it's these actions that might feel small, even trivial, but like a jazz phrase repeated over and over until it becomes part of our vocabulary, these movements, these pauses, these habits, well, they add up, they stick, and they become natural, and they create resilience as well. So here's the quick practical takeaway for today. Let's pick one small repeatable action we can do every day this week. Just one. That's all I'm asking. So it could be 2 minutes of stretching, dynamic stretching, for example. If you're not sure what that is, you can check out a YouTube video for dynamic stretching. There are plenty out there. 5 squats. That's not bad. Something I've been doing more recently between sessions at the desk, just getting up. That was a suggestion for me not that long ago. Drinking water first thing in the morning. That's a great habit to get into. A couple of glasses, for example. Wonderful. Or pausing for 5 deep breaths at lunch. You only have lunch once a day? 5 deep breaths? Oh, that's not too much to ask. So the goal isn't to overhaul our lives. The goal is to create rhythm through consistency. In other words, simplicity, which is practiced daily. And I'll leave you with this thought, and this is adapted from a line by Miles Davis. It's not the notes you play once that matter. It's the notes you keep playing every day that create the music. So if you've made it to the end of this jazz-inspired episode, well done. And please consider subscribing or giving it a like on whatever platform you're listening from. It really helps those mysterious algorithms to spread the word. So this has been Busy Pro Fast Wellness, and I'm Alan Welch, as you may well know. So thanks for listening, and remember, keep it simple, keep it consistent, and let your heart swing.